Right, hello, 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 all you lovely, gorgeous, wonderful people. It is another episode of Tamara Unfiltered, and today I have somebody very, very special on the show, and I am excited, not excited to introduce her because she really shouldn't have to be here, but she is. And today I have got Kath Kendall, the amazing Kath Kendall, and she is here today to. First of all, she needs to help. She needs some help to raise emergency funds for some treatment, and she wants to share her surgery about why she needs this treatment because she's unfortunately had a botched hysterectomy performed by a negligent doctor, and he's basically wrongfully removed her womb and left random objects inside of her. So she's come here to share her story, hopefully help warn other people, and like I said, raise some funds for this much needed surgery. So Kath, hello, welcome. It's so good, not good to have you here.
Hello, Tamara. It's
How are
lovely
you,
to be
lovely?
here. I love chatting to you, and it's not nice that it's under these circumstances, but at the same time, I love having a chat. So
Just so you all know, me and Kath we're Instagram friends. We met quite a few years ago now on Instagram. I love Kath. We're both Aquarius, so I think we just gelled really, really well. She's good people, and we talk behind the scenes. So if you're wondering how we know each other, this is not completely random. We are friends on the internet. But Kath, talk to me. What's happened?
as you know, because I've obviously spoken to you about this as a friend, 3 years ago, I've got endometriosis, and 3 years ago, it just got so bad that I couldn't cope anymore. I was bedbound. I had had my life completely stripped from me. And I decided to go private for private surgery because the wait on the NHS was 2 to 3 years, and it wasn't something that I could do. The weight was dropping off me. I was in agony every day, and decided to find a private surgeon. I searched high and low. My family and I, we looked at reviews. We thought we had found the best surgeon. And I mean, at first we did find two, and we went for two consultations. And the reason why I didn't go with the first one was because he couldn't get me in quick enough, and it's the biggest mistake I ever made. So we went with the second one, who was his reviews were shining, absolutely amazing. And what followed was just a nightmare, an absolute nightmare. So went for a consultation. The consultation was £400. It lasted all of about 12 minutes, and that included a physical examination as well. And then he booked me in for a hysterectomy within 9 days. He said, the uterus is definitely the issue, and it needs to be removed for you to be out of this pain. And at that point, Tamara, I was in so much pain that I just was like, do whatever you need to do. I need to be out of this pain because my life's not worth living. So went ahead with the surgery.
Sorry, can I
And
just butt in and clarify? From the day of your consultation to the day of your womb being removed, there was 9 days.
9 days.
Sorry, carry on.
And before that, I had no sort of build up to this is what's going to happen. That was it. I had
What?
9 days
What
to
had
get used
he?
to the fact.
What had he done test-wise to confirm or think that you would actually need to be having a hysterectomy?
He personally didn't do anything at all. I suppose his main test was doing a physical examination and feeling my womb, and he said, "Yep, the problem is the womb." And stupidly, when you're in that much pain and you go to a specialist, you trust what they're saying. You trust that what they're saying is what you need to have done. You don't say, "Oh, they must be making it up to try and get money," or they're not giving me the full picture.
I
I was
think
at
we
a point
think
in my
when we
life as well
go
where
when you go private, and especially when you're paying that kind of money, you just automatically assume you're getting the best service. I wouldn't question it.
you really do. We did also show him a picture of my MRI that I'd had done through the NHS, where the NHS had not said that they thought I had adenomyosis. And the other surgeon had said that he thinks that I may have adenomyosis, but he would not perform a hysterectomy.
So
We
was
only
this the
found that out at a
NHS?
later date.
So the NHS doctor had basically
No,
said
it was
you would.
no. So we had a MRI in the NHS, and they did a report of the MRI which said I didn't have adenomyosis, but I did have deeply infiltrating endometriosis. Then I gave this scan to the next surgeon, the one that was a little bit longer wait list, where I was going to go privately. And we got his report after I'd had my operation. And it basically said that his plan of action would be to just remove the endometriosis and see how we get on with that. So he wouldn't have removed the womb. But this surgeon that I decided to go with, because he could get me in 9 days, which is a red flag in itself.
It is a red flag, but I know when you're in that sort of pain, you just want it done. And that's why you go private.
I was just totally relieved, because I thought he can get me in so quick. I didn't think he's getting me in really quick because he's a bodge jobber and he's getting 5 surgeries in a day. And this other surgeon, who was a good surgeon, was only doing 1 to 2 surgeries a day. I didn't think about any of that. I honestly didn't. And it's a lesson learned there. But he'd looked at this MRI, bearing in mind he's not a radiographer, he's a gynecologist. And he drew on this image for me and he said, this is where you've got adenomyosis. So he pointed out where the adenomyosis was. Anyway, we got booked in for the hysterectomy, and I remember still trying to wake up. I was in the recovery room, and that is the only time I ever heard his voice. He didn't come round to see me after the operation. I just remember him saying, the womb looked absolutely fine, but we've removed a lot of endometriosis and it was deeper than we expected. So here's me trying to recover, and I'm thinking, oh my God, he's just said the womb looked absolutely fine and he's removed it.
Sorry, just stop. So he said to you the womb looked fine, but he still went ahead and removed it?
Yes. And there was no talk of if the womb was absolutely fine. Really, it should have been a conversation before. If it appears fine when you go in, don't remove it.
They should have just stopped.
But he removed it anyway. And he wrote that on his notes, actually. He wrote that the womb appeared normal, but still removed it anyway. And yeah, it was just nightmare after nightmare after that. I was in the hospital for, I think it was around 12 hours. It wasn't much longer than that.
Sorry, you had your womb removed and you were only in hospital for 12 hours? Did you just say you
come round onto the ward?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just, and then they kicked you out?
Yeah, they tried to kick me out really, really early. It was about 9 o'clock max. Right, you're going to have to go now. You're all ready to go. Left with no discharge notes or anything. But that evening and that morning before I left, I was begging for fluids, Tamara. Recently been diagnosed with autism, and one of my main issues is that I struggle to drink. I've never been able to drink a lot. I don't enjoy drinking. It's a real struggle, and I couldn't drink after the operation. And I said, please, can you put another bag of fluids on my drip, because I can't drink and I'm not going to be able to drink at home. Mm-hmm. Point blank refused to do it. He refused to give me them. And within about 24 hours of getting home from that operation, I was back in my local hospital with a pulmonary embolism on my lungs because of dehydration.
God.
So
yeah, that all just kind of sounds not unbelievable, like I don't believe you, but that just is fucking. Can I just ask, where did you have the initial surgery? That obviously wasn't an NHS hospital. I know you can't say where it was, but what type of?
Yeah, it was private surgery, and I don't think I can say where it was at the moment, but it was private. I paid for it.
But was it like a clinic? Was it an office? Was it a private hospital? Was it like?
Oh, it's a private hospital, a well-known private hospital.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, well-known.
So how did you find this doctor? No, I was just going to say, how did you find the doctor?
There's a group on Facebook, which I don't know if I'm allowed to mention the name yet, but it's a well-known endometriosis group. And this group recommends the top endometriosis surgeons in the UK. Around the world, but I looked for the UK. And this one group recommends who's the best in the UK, and I've since found out that this group is
being
not what
paid
it's.
by these doctors, maybe to
I've
advertise.
heard that, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, commissioned. Is what I've heard. Can't say if it's 100% true or not, but I have heard that the person who runs the group is commissioned by not all, but some of these surgeons. And I believe my surgeon to be one, but I don't know. And yeah, this group is really spreading a lot of lies that is ruining women's lives, absolutely ruining women's lives. The group admin, the leader of that group, basically says if you get endometriosis removed by one of my specialists, it's not going to come back. It's never going to come back. And I truly
don't
believe
even
that,
think you could.
Tamara.
I don't think you could. Yeah, but I don't think you could make a claim like that. I mean, I'm
No,
not a doctor, as we all know.
this is what I'm saying. When you're in that position where you're in constant pain and you're reading these groups and there's thousands of women on it, and remember, not all these reviews on these groups are real, but you're reading them and you're thinking that they're real. And you're thinking, God, if I get one of these doctors, I'm going to be better, and it's never going to come back. It's one big scam, really. So I found my surgeon on there, and then obviously he'd done other media things that had made me think that he was the best of the best. And although our consultation wasn't great, we got out, and I remember saying there was red flags immediately. And I remember saying to Jamie, that didn't feel right. It was so rushed. And we both said in the end, we both agreed that actually we don't care about his bedside manner. We just want the surgical skill to be perfect. I was like, I don't care. If he's not a nice person, it doesn't matter. As long as he does the best job. And that's how we kind of got around that. And yeah, it was the worst decision of my life.
I know you don't mind me saying, but we were speaking around this time, and I knew you had made the decision to do this. And I mean, it was not any of my business, but it seemed very wild to me that it was such a short space of time that you were given to actually make a decision. Because I was like, hey, think about it. And it was like, well, there's kind of no
I
time to.
remember you saying,
And this is not this is the worst thing to have to be like, God, no. Like, but it was
told you
just
so.
such a. It's just, no, but it's such a. The thing is, I know the position you were in because you're in pain, you feel like you're fucking dying, and you just want it to be over. But then from an outside perspective, I'm like, hold on a minute, a doctor's trying to take her whole womb out, and you are as young as you are. I'm kind of against the whole hysterectomy thing anyway. I think it is kind of a travesty the amount of women they offer this to, when this is our grounding to the fucking, this is what keeps us grounded here. It's criminal that they
Yeah.
do that, and I felt genuinely fucking terrible for you. But like I said, I understand why you did that, because you just, especially when you're scared, you look to these people who are in positions of care, who you assume know what they're talking about and are going to do the right thing, and you lean on them, I guess. And it's a sigh of relief to just be able to hand that over and go, oh, they're going to deal with that. So I don't at any point think you're to blame for this. I think you've clearly been a victim of, I wouldn't even know what you'd call this man. I wouldn't even know. So where are you allowed to talk about what the situation is currently?
I suppose partially what the situation is currently is that I obviously have a lot of scar tissue, probably from not only having the hysterectomy and the excision, but having plastic left inside me, which we haven't touched upon. But if people know about the story, they'll know that this surgeon did leave plastic inside of me as well, and has denied it as well. I need another operation to remove the endometriosis that was left behind, and remove scar tissue and my ovaries, because my ovaries are now completely adhered to my bowels, and the scar tissue in itself, where they're adhered to the bowels, is causing me so much pain in itself. So I've come around from this surgery worse off than I was before the surgery. Yeah, I can't really think of where else to go from there.
No, I know it's a lot for you to talk about. Kath is Kath has reluctantly let her beautiful best friend and partner set up a GoFundMe for her. I know you didn't want to do it because I know you're like me and you don't ever want outside help. But I think with this, it is such a monumental thing to have to take on. I think everybody just encouraged you to go and get the help. Even me, if you can, sometimes something is so big for you to do for yourself, but like if you can let everybody else help, it's a lot easier. Like if we all put in £10, we can get this done together. So that is kind of why you're here today, because you want to try and hopefully raise some funds towards this GoFundMe campaign to get this surgery booked in and done ASAP. Because what has been, you've obviously been left a lot more ill. You're not a dramatic person, I can tell, but I will say it, you've been left at death's door. Not just physically, but mentally as well.
I think that's the thing as well, that this whole thing, it wasn't just the physical impact of the fact that he's removed my womb, he's left endometriosis behind, he's left plastic inside of me. It's my mental health hit rock bottom. It literally hit rock bottom. I didn't want to be here. It was so bad, because I couldn't see a way out, and that went on for that horrific rock bottom went on for at least a year. I'd wake up every morning screaming and crying because I couldn't believe what had happened, and I was still in so much pain, and it took a long time to get past that. And I think you're left with like a mental scar. It's PTSD, it's grief, it's everything all rolled into one. And people do just think that it's just the physical side, and it's actually now more so, even though I'm in constant pain, it's the mental side that I've been left with.
Because obviously now you will have to, I don't know, I don't want to say it's such a horrible thing to say, but you've now been left without an option to have a child yourself. That is,
yeah.
I don't even know how to describe that. That's just fucked up to say the least. Sorry to swear, but that just must be devastating. And then to be, I don't know, you have to wake up and think about that every day. You have to wake up and think about, you just must want to fucking kill everybody, including yourself. And I fucking understand that. That is just, I don't know, a very horrible thing.
I think that was a massive grief for me and us, because obviously we've got Jamie as well. We obviously wanted a family, biological family of our own. I think that was a massive grief for us, that was stripped away in such a short space of time. We didn't have a year to think about it. We didn't even have a month to think about it. It was just ripped away. And at that time, like I say, I would do anything to get out of that pain. And I was like, right, okay, we'll figure out something else. We knew that egg retrieval might be an option, and that at the time, I remember you even offered me your womb. You were like, oh, you can, after this had all happened, you were like, you were the first friend to say, I want to fucking give you my womb. And I'm like, something like that is like the biggest thing that you could ever offer to someone. Obviously at this point we're probably thinking about going down a different road, because I don't want to do egg retrieval, because of the pain again that would cause, and the fact that my ovaries are adhered to my bowels. It would be a dangerous process to be able to retrieve the eggs when it's so close to my bowel. They could end up rupturing my bowel, and it's not something that I think that I want to do. But yeah, I forgot where I was going.
No, we were talking. Just to clarify, I wasn't actually offering Kath my womb. I was offering to surrogate for you, which I know probably sounds crazy, but as a mum, knowing that opportunity had been taken from you, you just, I don't know, knowing how much you want that as well. I don't know. I wanted to give that to you because that's just and I know how hard it is as well to find a surrogate, because there's so many like restrictions that comes with it. You're going to have to do a lot of things that we kind of agree on a lot of things. So, I wouldn't have gone and vaccinated your baby and stuff like that. But when you're dealing with a normal surrogate, I don't know, but you've just been left in such a fucked up position. So what do you hope the outcome is going to be from all of this? I mean, we're manifesting that money for the surgery, but moving past that, what do you hope
So the main reason for putting out that video originally was I was on the NHS waiting list, and I was happy to stay on the NHS waiting list and deal with this pain for as long as I possibly could. When everyone saw the response that we got from that first video, because my original reason for putting out the video was to get answers. We've never had any answers. What was that plastic? Why was it left inside of me? Is there anyone that can help? We're on that path now, and we can't sort of explore that any further than we already are. I think I want to stop him from doing this to anybody else. And at the moment, that surgeon is still practicing and still damaging women. The amount of women that have come forward and knew who he was just from the demeanour that I've explained, and said his name in my inbox. So wow. I've never mentioned his name on my post, but I've had several girls come forward and say, this is what he did to me.
And is it the same thing? They've gone in and he's just like, we need to remove the womb. That is like virgin.
So they're all very...
That's like psychopathic behaviour, because you never know what a person... I already think male gynecologists are not okay. I don't know what makes you think with your penis you've got any right to lord over a woman's vagina. It's just wild to me. But the fact that he's done... How many people would you say has contacted you?
So I would say there's been around 20 girls contact me, but around 5 of those were different surgeons. And they were all the 5 were they're all very different. It wasn't one group surgeon, yet 15 of them were him. So it makes it very clear that people are aware that this surgeon is doing very similar things. They may not all have a case, but they were all very similar, dismissing the patient when they have post-operative complications, not being available for post-operative complications, bowel and bladder issues after surgery, lots of very, very similar issues with this one surgeon.
That is really... That's absolutely crazy. The fact that you can say you've only put out one video, you've had 15 people come to you and say, hey, I know. That's absolutely crazy, because that means there's got to be at least 10 times that out there, because a lot of people won't speak. There's got to be lots of people out.
Got to be so many more, because I've not mentioned his name at all the hospital, and yet all these women have come forward and asked if it's him. So if his name was to be out there, I believe that there will be a lot more.
Okay. Now back to this Facebook group. Are they still in operation?
Oh yes, yeah. You
know what? You're the professional. I'm not. It's my podcast. I do what I like. I'm going to find out who these people are, and I'm going to make it my mission to make sure their page gets destroyed and taken down. I know you can't do that, but I'm going to take that on as my own personal mission. So fuck these people and their Facebook page. Who even uses Facebook anyway? Oh, Kath, my darling, I can't even believe you've had to go through all of that. But moving forward, you are going to get the money together for this surgery. Where are we at with the raising? How much, first of all, does the surgery cost?
So I'll find out exactly how much the surgery costs in around about a month. So the new surgeon that I'm with is having an MDT meeting. But he said that it should be under 15,000 if the thoracic surgeon is not needed. And we're praying that there's no endometriosis on my lungs or my chest. So if it comes back that there's none, then it's going to be under 15,000. If it comes back that there is, we don't know yet.
Okay, well, let's just focus on it coming back around the 15,000 mark. You are probably maybe just under a third of the way there. And what we really need is people to donate. We are well aware we are in the middle of a cost of living crisis, but I'm also well aware I've got some ballers that follow me. So if you are watching this and you're like, God, I need to put some money into something and, get a tax break or whatever, or you're just feeling generous, or you just care because maybe you've dealt with this shit yourself and you know how terrible it is, there's going to be a link under this podcast. Please, anything, if you can donate, that would be appreciated. How else do you think people can support you on this? I mean, I'm going to go and beat up the Facebook group. What can other people do?
I think just liking, sharing, like raising awareness.
Awareness.
Yeah, I think any woman that is watching this that believes that this person may have done something similar to them or someone that they know, reach out to me. I'm not allowed to personally say the person's name, but you can reach out to me and ask me if that is the surgeon and tell me your story. And I can go from there, but I'm not allowed to personally mention his name.
That's fair enough.
So
So
that's
if anybody, what area, what are we allowed to say what area you're in?
what area I'm in, or
Yeah.
the surgeon.
No. Just
I'm in
like
the
what area
Midlands.
you've had this in, because you're like, where are you? I don't want to say if we're not allowed to.
I'm in the Midlands, but the surgeon was further down south.
To like sort of more, I'm going to say it, this is not coming from Kath, probably London based. Because to be fair, that's where you go, isn't it? You see like Harley Street or something written on something and you're like, oh yeah, they're to be trusted. All right, well, Kath, what is your Instagram handle for everybody?
It's just Catherine Kendall, just my name.
Kath Kendall. All right, go and give Kath a follow. Everybody who's listening to this, I understand you might not be able to donate, but one thing I do know you can do is send me a bloody positive thought. Kath needs all the positive thoughts right now. We need to focus on her getting better, first and foremost, getting this money together to get the surgery. And I'm not going to say what my last wish is, but I think we all know what I hope happens to certain people in this situation. And I will be doing nothing but sending you good vibes, good thoughts and prayers, because this is just absolutely crazy. I'm hoping you're going to come back soon on the podcast with an update and some happy news to share.
100%.
And how are you this current moment in time? Is there anything anybody can do for you? Somebody might be watching this that, I don't know, might want to send you something, or how could we support you apart from sharing and liking?
So I think just the support just means so much. I've not had, touch wood, one negative comment, and through the hundreds of thousands via Instagram and TikTok, the hundreds of thousands of watches that we had on the video. Obviously, being in social media, you expect the negative comments. There's not been one. I think that in itself is just, it's made me feel like I've got an army of people behind me, which is like, it's all I could ask for. And yeah, there's nothing else. There's I don't think there's anything else that I can ask for other than for people to share. And if people can donate, I understand that times are hard and it's fine if you can't. Just share and like and comment to boost the posts.
Okay, we're going to get that done for you, Kath, and you are going to have a good outcome from this, because if anybody deserves it, it's most certainly you, my darling. Right, guys, go and follow Kath. Her tag is in the bio. Thank you, as always, for listening. I will be back next week. I'm not entirely sure what with, but I'll be here nonetheless. I love you all very, very much. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you soon. Mwah.